Happy birthday to each one of us. Buon fete, because today, February 28th, is a celebration of Auroville. 1968 was the year when this vision of Auroville as a city committed to human unity, the work had started. And since then, the aspiration has been to explore the aspect of self-giving. What it is to be a willing servitor. What does it really mean to be a willing servitor? And to distinguish it from what does it mean as a servant or a servitor? And what's the essence in our daily life? Sri Aurobindo and the Mother have given us a lot of it. I think what we will look at today is how do we draw upon the essence today in our lives, in our work, and the commitment that Mother brought for us. But prior to that, I'm going to invite Jaya to just bring for all of us the context of Mahasaraswati.
I will not be reading
Yes.
I will not be reading the whole text. I will be reading the last few lines on Mahasaraswati. A mother to our wants, a friend in our difficulties, a persistent and tranquil counselor and mentor, chasing away with a radiant smile the clouds of gloom and fretfulness and depression, reminding always of the ever-present help, pointing to the eternal sunshine. She is firm, quiet, and persevering in a deep and continuous urge that drives us towards the integrality of the higher nature. All the work of the other powers leans on her for its completeness. For she assures the material foundation, elaborates the stuff of detail, and erects and rivets the armor of the structure.
Thank you so much, Jaya, for that. So, given the context that Jaya just read, I would probably like to start off with why we know the last line that she is needed for the completeness. Maybe I would like to understand, because even before we go into self-giving and willing to be servitor, what's the reason, the aspect of Mahasaraswati? That the other three powers, which is Mahakali, Maheshwari, and Mahalakshmi, that while in each brings their strength, they lean on to Mahasaraswati for the sense of completion or for the completeness. So I'm going to throw open this to the audience, to our distinguished speakers. We have Prabir from Pondicherry Ashram, Shankaran, Narad, Kirti, and Tapas, who is here in Auroville. So, your point of view, your perspective, when you're starting off this, what's the reason or the context for leaning into Mahasaraswati for this? Because I think somewhere it dovetails into self-giving and willing to be a willing servitor.
So, I'll answer you a little indirectly.
Sure.
I'd like to just share that.
Hold the mic for yourself.
So I think this aspect of Mahasaraswati that we're trying to understand or realize, to me the greatest living example is Mother herself. So when we hear what she says about this eye for detail, the perfection in every work, and the perseverance. So more and more we realize, especially when you see how beautifully Mother has kind of created a rhythm in the whole lifestyle of the ashram, how she has directed in detail everything around the Matri Mandir, the whole plan. So it just reminds me about once Nandalal Bose commented that the artist who created the form of the Nataraja, he had to be a yogi and an artist. it's not an artist alone who could have created the Nataraja, and nor the yogi alone. So it's this kind of beautiful infusion of art yoga, and Mother herself being first a trained artist and then the Divine Mother herself. And I think none other than this kind of direction that she has given us on the path of the deeper understanding of Mahasaraswati. So this infusion of Kala with yoga. And in my personal journey, I think having studied in the ashram and then studied art formally and then having returned in 2000, when I was eventually ready to offer my services to the ashram, they asked me, where would you like to offer your services? So, very strangely, I said, anywhere but art. The reason being, I think, because it's very difficult for us here to talk of art in the traditional academics way. And I had come with all that and interestingly at that time they needed someone at Golkund. So I was sent to Golkund. So for those who don't know Golkund is an ashram dortwar, a dormitory house of the ashram, which had some special directions by Sherbindo and Mother who can live in Golkund. So it was like meant for those who were there for serious sadhana and yoga of Sherbindo. And Mother and Sherbindo have personally given directions of every detail there. So when I was sent there, and for 20 years that I volunteered there, I actually realized how then Mother taught me to understand this thing of art in daily life, the perfection of every little action and how it can be done beautifully, how it can be done. So every place has a thing, everything has a place. This is something we know mentally, but what does it really mean to understand that in your living space? It kind of just reminds me of another line where in Nandalal Bose's writings he says that I'm surprised to see educated students leave their hostel rooms so disarranged, and when I visit the Shautal villages, I'm so amazed to see the beauty of the little huts and how they are beautifully arranged. So just to kind of understand this whole element of beauty, and recently when we had a get-together which was organized by Tapas and Divya a few months back, and we had a presentation, for me it was again a realization that Mother has stressed on this element of beauty very strongly and very clearly. And I somehow feel this element of Mahasaraswati is actually missing in all our lives. And that's why we have a problem in harmony. We also have a problem in just prosperity. Even I mean to say as people, as a country, as the world. So I think in my experience, what I feel being a divine servitor really means is just thinking, what can I give as a gesture of kind of gratitude to the divine? And just like a tree, just like a banyan tree, a tree never thinks of what I can get, it just thinks of what can I give. And if as just, divine servitors, we can each, because I realize that until we breathe, we all have something to give. And that's the important thing. So for me, through my work, it's this element of beauty. So in the current work I'm doing, we just celebrated 10 years of the art center that I run in Pondicherry. So I said, what can we give to the city? So I said, let's put out 10 artworks in the public space. And I think, so we know Saraswati is a goddess of education, of beauty, of love, of knowledge. So actually that's what happens when beauty is out realized in a physical space. That's why our ancient culture was so rich. The kings, even if they would have conquered, a big land, the first way they would kind of acknowledge their gratitude to the divine would be by constructing a temple. And then everything, the temple took care of the whole well-being of the people. So Saraswati has that power of our integral well-being, and art and culture and beauty. So we all need to understand the role that beauty plays. So one of my attitudes in the public artworks I do is, I would maybe select the most difficult corner, or I would select the dirtiest corner, or the most problematic corner with drunkards and darkness, and just put beauty out there in the middle of the street. So just kind of random acts of beauty. And so many things get solved. The drunkards come say, Nandrima, Rambaraga, the next day, automatically darkness goes away. So I think that's the power of Saraswati, and that's my kind of effort